In the meantime, we do have these two stories in front of us. I do want to dig a little deeper in today as we have a little more time. As we're waking up on Monday morning, there's a lot of talk about abortion law in America. There's also a lot of talk about what's going on in Asia. And so these topics aren't directly related, but both of them are topics that you're likely going to see this week. And so I just want to take a moment to talk to you a little bit about both of them. So let's start off with what's going on with abortion. And before I even get into this topic, related to the so-called abortion pill, I just want to give you a few statistics that are important for this conversation. These statistics are the most publicly available. Certainly, there's a lot of statistics that are being used in a lot of different ways. These appear to be some of the most reliable. So when we're talking about abortion in America, there's a lot of different perceptions. A lot of those perceptions can be driven by social media, personal experience, pop culture. In general, when we're talking about abortion, about 90% of the abortions that happen in America happen at 13 weeks in pregnancy or earlier. And about half of those abortions that take place do not actually involve a surgical procedure. They involve the use of a prescription pill. And the prescription pill has often been referred to as the abortion pill. Or let me see if I can say this correctly. This is the actual name, mifepristone. I don't know if I'm saying that completely correct, mifepristone. We may use the term abortion pill as we're talking about just for ease, but that's the prescription that's at the heart of several legal cases that has suddenly reached a level of maturity that now they're making news. So what's going on here? Remember, last year with the reversal of Roe v. Wade, there was a change in abortion law in America that basically kicked abortion law back to the states. So the states had more ability to regulate abortion at different times in the pregnancy. In some states, abortion is virtually inaccessible. In other states, it hasn't changed that much. It just depends on where you live. There was a case that had started last year that took a look at this particular pill. Now, this abortion pill has been used for 20 years. It was approved by the FDA about 20 years ago. It's been used consistently in this way. But one group that has been challenging abortion in America came forward and said, listen, this should not have been approved because of the way that it's being used now specifically. Like the approval process wasn't correct by the FDA. By the way, people are getting this prescription through telehealth visits, telemedicine. They're not even being seen by a doctor. So the approval by the FDA for use of this prescription should not stand. This was the argument. And a federal judge in Texas agreed and basically said that no, the FDA approval of this prescription should be withdrawn. Now, he added a 7-day delay in this. So even though the ruling was issued on Friday, he's giving the US government, the FDA, a week to respond. And in that response, we may see that the approval for this pill is not completely withdrawn and it's continued to be used as legal challenges continue because we expect legal challenges to continue. There's several levels that it could go from here. But it definitely was a ruling that got a lot of attention and has caused some concern for those that say, hey, this pill is really important for healthcare in America, especially now when some clinics are no longer providing the surgical procedure, they're able to provide this prescription. The argument is from that side is that it's safe, it's effective, and it's a way to give access to healthcare. For the other side, it's wait a minute, this is abortion in a different way that is not being regulated or looked at appropriately. And because of the strength of this medication, it could actually be dangerous. So these are kind of the two sides of the debate. The federal judge ruled with the side saying that the FDA's approval should be suspended, and we'll see where it goes from here. In the meantime, though, there was another group that issued a different legal challenge. And this was a group of 18 states. So this is in the state of Washington. And basically what the states are saying, these are attorneys general in these states, they asked the FDA to make it more available, to make this abortion pill more available, to lift undue restrictions. So what these states were saying is that the FDA was singling out this drug for a unique set of restrictions, and that the courts needed to step in and say this drug is safe and effective and that it doesn't need this extra regulation and it should be readily available. So it's the opposite argument. So you had two different cases, one in Texas and one in Washington state, from very different parties having very different arguments. In this particular case, also last week, the judge ruled in favor of these particular states, saying, yeah, actually, this drug should be more readily available. So now we have two completely different rulings. Okay, where does this go from here? It's a big question. The bottom line is this. For some, this idea that if Roe v. Wade changed, then abortion law in America changed, then you know what? we're done with this topic. And that is certainly not the case. This is a whole different angle on the topic of abortion. And you're seeing a lot of different sides come forward because in states like, for example, in California, where abortion is more accessible. So, this is just a totally different viewpoint of this very important, very emotional, very politically loaded topic where the states suddenly have some control again about the abortion law in their states. There's another angle on this abortion argument. So, where this goes from here, anyone's best guess. We'll see where this story ends up at the end of the week and whether or not this particular prescription remains available or not. And so there's going to be a lot of activity, at least in the immediate. Where it goes from here, we don't know. So hopefully that provides a little bit of a background. There's those that say, hey, listen, this is the next case that's going to end up in the Supreme Court. It's going to be about prescriptions like this.